Last weekend, the Dallas crew went to Mr. Misters in Dallas, Texas, and exposed a Drag Your Kids to Pride event in this bar.
It's funny. It was literally called Drag Your Kids to Pride.
Which sounds like it's not, like, what's the word?
Appropriate?
Or, they're dragging them. They don't want to go.
Yeah, they're doing a play on the word drag, but you're really exposing.
There's no
that's
consent.
How it goes.
There's no consent in drag.
The 6-year-old who's playing on his iPad, he's literally being dragged.
Yeah. So these guys did great. Aldo, our guy, our correspondent for the day, he did a great job. He got all the way in. The whole crew did a really good job, though. Isabella Riley filmed with him, got really good content as well. Taylor Hansen did a really good job.
Yep.
He exposed the drag queens, everything. He was outside. Aldo is our guy, did a great job. Buttazzoni is his last name.
Buttazzoni.
And I think that helped him get in because they probably showed his ID and they're like, "Oh, butt ass, like, get this guy in here.
He's one of us.
He's one of us." The KGB boys were there. The KGB show guys were there. They did a great job. John Doyle outside. Primetime Stein tried to get in the front door. They kind of plugged him on the way in. They didn't let him in, but he did a great job exposing the.
He burned fast and bright for that 30 seconds or whatever it was.
Yeah, he did a great job chasing the drag queens out as well. And Aldo, our guy, look at the way he like intros this interview. He kind of has like he's like basically undercover. They think he's on his side.
Yeah.
And he kind of has like a little like fake gay vibe to him where he's like, "Oh, we're at Mr. Misters. Like, check this out."
Got done with the Drag Your Kids to Pride event at Mr. Mister.
Like,
and
totally like, we're at Mr. Misters. Like, how did the event go? Yeah. So good. So, yes, Aldo did a great job getting in and being undercover. He's really good at pretending to be a little gay guy. We're just kidding, Aldo. We love you. You did so good. So there's a debate online now. The drag queen supporters are coming out and saying, well, if drag's inappropriate for boys, why is bringing your son to Hooters any different? Isn't that sexualizing them and grooming them? And the answer is obviously no, because bringing a young boy to a drag show where homosexuals are dressed like women receiving tips from children is not normal. That's not normal sexual development. That's not normal for anybody.
I call it deviant.
Deviant for sure. Bringing your young son to Hooters and they order wings and get a little like goofy and they like the girls, that's normal sexual development because no one secretly wants to fuck the kid.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's like a big difference here. And I think a lot of the things the left is doing now is they're trying to pretend that kids are like blank canvases. And, they like anything and they don't know what they like. And the only reason they're heterosexual is because they've been groomed that way. What's the difference between grooming one way or the other? Which is obviously not the case.
100%. It's like you ever see a kid go to a swimming pool and just like an 11-year-old kid and he's just like out of the pool staring at someone. It's like, all right, Timmy's going to be straight. Like maybe he needs to chill and learn about nuance, but Timmy's going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Bringing kids to a drag show isn't normal sexual development. You're actually showing them something new and trying to steer them into that direction to see if they like it or not, or actually encourage them to like it, which is literally grooming.
Yeah. And then they say it's more like, oh, just get used to it, accept it, like whatever. But that's not really what happens when the little kid starts dancing and really going after it.
Exactly. The sign in the background says it's not going to lick itself.
What does that mean,
What does that mean? And then the people on the left on Twitter are like, this is a sign from an ice cream shop. Why is everyone freaking out about it? Yeah, at an ice cream shop, it can pass.
Yeah, context.
Because you're eating ice cream.
Yeah.
What are we licking at the drag show with all these gay people?
And it's a gay bar, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to lick itself in the gay bar. Doesn't mean ice cream, guys.
Yeah.
They don't have 12 o'clock midnight every night Sundays.
Yeah, exactly.
There's circuit parties.
Young boys being attracted to girls is normal sexual development.
And like
bringing them to this is an outlier event.
Yeah, certainly. And then also an experiment. Like we haven't seen these events on a large scale. We have seen Hooters on a large scale. It's been pretty fine. And then also it's like you go to Hooters with your dad and your brother after a baseball game. And it's like, what? We're going to Hooters? I thought we couldn't go to that place. And like, it's funny.
Fun. It's Americana.
Yeah. And then, you see some boobs.
You see some boobs. It's not even that inappropriate. They're wearing outfits. It's a corporate situation.
Yeah.
It's not even that crazy. But now it's like obviously the fight for the kids. I guess the kids are mature enough now to be 5 years old at a drag queen thing and be mature and about it and take it in normally as if it's a normal situation. Kids are also mature enough to vote at 16 now. They're not mature enough to buy a rifle until they're 21.
Yeah.
But they are mature enough to change their gender at age 5.
So there's way different levels.
There's different levels, and it never makes sense if you add them all together and say, well, you said kids weren't mature enough to own a gun, but here you said kids can change their gender, and here you said kids should vote at 16, but then you said, it's like every single thing you put together and try to add up, it doesn't make sense, but they don't really care. They just do whatever they need to do and say whatever they need to say in that moment for political points.
Mm-hmm.
So they're willing to sacrifice anything they've ever said in the past and contradict themselves because their audience has a fish brain and kind of just goes along with whatever.
Exactly. 8-second memory goldfish.
Yeah, exactly. But the puppet masters don't care. They actually laugh, I think. They actually enjoy making their little Muppets do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Remember a few weeks ago, if you're not a woman, you can't get involved in the abortion debate.
Mm-hmm.
And now everyone's a woman if you say you're a woman, and then these drag, it's
no one
just,
can define it.
it never has to add up. It never has to make sense. It's just about right now, what do I need in my corner for political points?
Yeah.
And I'll use it, which is basically what happened. There was a video of this guy walking to the drag queen event to protest it. And look what happened. So look how he's treated.
Get out of the way.
Everyone's getting in his face. Everyone's trying to fight him. One guy's yelling, "Leave the kids alone. Leave the kids alone." And it's like, irony alert. Don't you hear what you're saying? Like, they're projecting so much at this point. Leave the kids alone. The guy going to try and stop the kids from entering a drag show.
Yeah, if you left the kids alone, do you think they'd all be on Eventbrite buying tickets for the drag show? No, I don't think so.
Leave the kids alone so we can drag them to Pride.
I know.
It doesn't make any sense, and it's not supposed to. But they just kind of want to usher in this post-truth world where they just pretend that kids are a blank slate, and if it wasn't for this patriarchy, we'd have all more LGBTs, and everyone would be happy, and everyone would be able to express themselves in their gender identity and the sexual spectrum or whatever. And that's just absolutely not the case. It was conditioning. A lot of the gays and the drag queens were groomed into that lifestyle. That's just the truth. People aren't straight because, like, oh yeah, I kept seeing, everyone kept pressuring me to get a girlfriend, so I guess I'll like girls. Taylor Hanson had a really good story. He was in the bar in Mr. Misters. He said there was a kid next to him with his mom, and the mom was saying, "Oh, my son's gay," and the kid was saying, "No, I'm not." And he's like on his phone, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." And the mom was going, "Oh, yes, he is. Yes, he is."
Jeez.
Which is so dark.
I wonder what effect that has on a 7-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on. We're still in the drag story. Remember back in the day when Elvis dancing was like super controversial?
Yes. He was like moving his hips too much.
And they wanted to make it like illegal, and he was like the bad boy.
And like the girls would go, "Ah!"
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "We need to stop this."
We've come a long way since then.
Yeah.
Thanks, Elvis. Look what you did.
Yeah.
You ruined it.
Yeah, that was a tiny little snowball, and now it's an avalanche at the bottom of the mountain, just waiting to steamroll kids.
Exactly. It's that first block in that meme
Yeah.
where you tip it.
Elvis moving his hips a little too much, and then drag kids in Dallas. Drag your kids to Pride.
Drag your kids to Pride and tip the drag queens.
Do you want to talk about the result, the Texas State rep?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So then afterwards, like after this weekend, Texas State rep said, "I will be filing legislation to address this issue." Basically said he will file a bill to ban drag shows in the presence of minors in Texas, which I think is a great move, and it's a great chess move too, because then it's like, all right, get the screaming leftists to come defend drag kids now.
Mhm.
It's like, well, watch them protest this. You don't come out looking good to the majority of Middle America.
Exactly. And there is like a dividing of teams. We talked about in housekeeping too, how the corporations are all selling out.
Yeah.
You remember how corporations wouldn't say Merry Christmas? They have to say Happy Holidays because not everyone is Christian and everyone celebrates Christmas.
You got to be sensitive to that.
But
3% Muslim population.
now everyone's fine with the gay stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the gay community. Everyone's LGBT. Everyone's involved in that.
Because they don't see it differently. They go, "Oh, yeah, Christianity, it's like Christmas, the whole thing that built America. Don't worry about that. It's holidays now. You guys can take that hit, right?" But then they shove it in our face and go...
They shove it down our throat. They slap it across our face.
with no, like, in public-facing things, like a store, the whole storefront will be, like, gay and pride, and it's like, this is Main Street. Like, can we chill out? But so no consideration for anyone's feelings or beliefs. Then I saw the same thing. A lot of people getting roasted. The Tampa Bay Rays, 5 players, 5 pitchers apparently refused to wear a pride thing and citing religious beliefs,
Good.
which is totally fair if you're a Muslim. But if you're a Christian guy in America, get tough, you know? Ugh, come on. That's not important.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize to the Muslims if I've ever thought that you guys were too strict.
Mm.
There's no there's no drag queen story hour in Iran.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of evidence to the contrary now that strictness
They're proving their point.